All right, welcome back. Number 4 on the list. I don't know how many there's gonna be. Depends how much stuff pops into my head. But we've got number 4 video right now. So there's 3 prior for all you math majors out there. Go check them out. Talk about in the first one, why invest in mortgage notes. Talk about in the second one, the collateral file, what's in it, some of the basics, and then developing your strategy is the third one. So now, in this video, we're gonna talk about where to find notes. Where can I go start looking at inventory? Where can I go? This is where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? This is where you've sourced inventory and you're ready to start looking at stuff. Not always as easy as you think, especially in the past. It was difficult. We've got some online trading platforms like PaperStack out there. Notes Direct is out there, where we will actually have loads of inventory. We got 215 assets available on PaperStack right now. Plenty of inventory for you to go look at and sink your teeth into. But where else can you go to find inventory? Some of the places you can look, people go directly to community banks. You can actually go to a community bank and end up buying a loan there, because sometimes the banks don't know what they're gonna do with it. It's a community bank. They've got relationships with the actual people they lent the money to. And so sometimes it's easier for them, less of a PR nightmare, to go ahead and just sell that loan. We almost purchased a note. It was a commercial note, but it's where Windermere High School sits right now. So I kick myself for not doing that deal. But yeah, you can go to community banks. Hedge funds, they're out there. There's tons of these like mid-tier hedge funds or investment funds that are buying and selling debt. They might buy a bigger pool of maybe 50 to 100 million from a really big hedge fund like Blackstone, and so they've got these 50 to 100 million dollars of assets, and they're looking to liquidate and sell a few off. So that's a great place to also start. Note brokers. There's plenty of note brokers out there that have loads of inventory coming through. You can check out their inventory and just go find them. If you get on Dr. Google, get on Facebook, go to Facebook groups. That's another great one. There's a couple good Facebook groups out there. Just Google or go on there and search note investing. Those are some strong things to do. You're probably not going to go right to Bank of America. Probably not going to go to Chase and have them sell you a note. So save yourself the time, unless you've got several commas in your checking account. You got 50 to 100 million. As a matter of fact, I was on stage at an IMN event. I was speaking, and I came off stage, and a lady walked up to me, handed me her card. She's like, "Here, I'm from the Chase Wealth Services Department. I am interested in selling you some of our portfolio." I was like, "Great. What's your minimum buy?" She's like, "Oh, you got to have 100 million." I was like, "Great. I don't have 100 million." So that kind of gives you an idea. If you're going up into that upper echelon, that upper tier, you need to have 100 million liquid. There are some smaller ones that you can do. I know Freddie Mac just had a $524 million pool released of non-performing loans that they're selling. And you could get in and buy those. They did a small carve out for a veteran that I know, and the carve out was like 22 million is the unpaid principal balance. You're probably, probably 60 cents on the dollar there, maybe 50 cents, but probably 60, 65 cents on the dollar. And you had to have, 10% of the UPB liquid. So you had to have 2 million just to look at the stuff liquid, or 22 million, 100,000. So there's definitely those options out there. I would say start on the online platforms. PaperStack's a great one, free to register, free to shop. It's an open platform. So there's a wide variety of inventory on there, and we have multiple sellers that are working on the platform that are we may have 215 active right now. We probably have another 7,000 to 10,000 that are not active, that are just loaded onto the platform, haven't been placed as active. People just go ahead and they'll load load their whole portfolio up there and then just sell them off 10, 15 at a time. So definitely the online platforms are a good place to start. You can get in on PaperStack, for instance. You could get in, do a save search. If you like a specific state or a specific performance, maybe you want a performing first position in Florida, put that in there, save a search. You get notified exactly when it comes in. When you do start buying from hedge funds or brokers, some of the things you want to think about is they're going to start sending you assets and they're going to send them to you on Excel spreadsheets or tapes. Most of them will be password protected. And usually to get involved with a broker, especially, Mountain West, somebody like that, you're going to need to go through their onboarding. They're going to vet you, find out who you are, ask you some questions. How much money you have liquid, how much are you looking to buy, when are you looking to start buying, how many have you bought in the past 12 months, any states that you like, which favorite shoe color, which favorite color, what size shoe do you wear, all that good stuff. So you want to just be prepared for that. When you come on to PaperStack platform, we're going to vet you. We're going to verify your identity, make sure we know who you are. So that way, if there's any, wrongdoings, we can keep the bad people off the platform. But yeah, you want to, it's kind of a dialing for dollars thing. If you're going to do the hedge funds, or there's Condor Capital out there. I've purchased a lot of loans from Condor. I've heard people say they've got problems with Condor. For the most part, my experience was pretty good. There was a couple things that were not great, but for the most part, it was pretty good. I made some really good deals off of Condor because, it seems like they're overcapitalized and under manpowered. So you can catch them sleeping on some stuff and stuff falls through the cracks. So Condor's they've got a lot of inventory, a lot of good inventory. Like I said, there's Notes Direct, PaperStack. There's a lot of different brokers out there. Heck, we're talking with a broker dealer, Rams Capital, that they traded like tons of inventory last year, like 13 billion. So there's a lot of inventory out there for sale. A lot of different loan servicers have trade desks that you can go to. So networking is probably one of the biggest keys. Deal flow should never be an issue. There's plenty of inventory out there. Martin Sains says that deal flow is never an issue, and he's right. He really is. If you're ever looking if you need to find inventory or you think there's not enough inventory, it's because you're not looking. You just need to go out and look, put a little effort in, start networking, get in the Facebook groups, LinkedIn, comment, pick up the phone. Simply by jumping on PaperStack, you're going to meet people who will know of other inventory. So there's lots of different avenues to find inventory. So hope that helps out. Stay tuned for the next one. We're going to go through buying your first mortgage note, what's the actual process, and running your due diligence, stuff along those lines. So appreciate it. Subscribe, like, that whole deal. Talk to you soon. Bye.